US President Joe Biden has called for suspending normal trade relations with Russia and said the US would ban imports of seafood, vodka, and diamonds from the nation as part of an effort to ramp up economic pressure on Russia for invading Ukraine. Biden said the US, along with the G7 and European Union, will call for revoking most favored nation status for Russia, referred to as permanent normal trade relations in the US. The status means two nations have agreed to trade under the best possible terms, which can include lower tariffs, fewer barriers to trade and high imports, Biden said. Russian strikes hit western Ukraine as offensive widens. US President Joe Biden announced the ban of imports of seafood, vodka, and diamonds from Russia. The move requires approval from Congress, and legislation is expected to be introduced following Biden's announcement. Revoking PNTR for Russia is going to make it harder for Russia to do business with the United States, and doing it in unison with other nations that make up half of the global economy will be another crushing blow to the Russian economy that's already suffering very badly from our sanctions, Biden said. The president said, "Many issues divide us in Washington, but standing for democracy in Ukraine, pushing Russia's aggression should not be one of those issues. The free world is coming together to confront Putin." The president also thanked House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for being a strong advocate on this issue and for holding off on the legislation in the House of Representatives until I could line up all of our key allies to keep us in complete unison. Biden announced the US would ban goods from several signature sectors of Russia's economy, including seafood, vodka, and non-industrial diamonds. The White House said this will deny Russia more than $1.3 billion in export revenues. The president will also sign an executive order ending the exportation of luxury items including spirits, tobacco, clothing, jewelry, cars, and antiques to Russia. A White House official told CNN the goal is to continue hurting Russian oligarchs and the country's wealthiest people by depriving them of their creature comforts, as the US continues to try to put pressure around those close to Putin. An explosion is seen in an apartment building after Russia's army tank fires in Mariupol, Ukraine, Friday, March 11, 2022. It is also aimed at removing ways for these oligarchs to shelter their money, as they are already increasingly closed off from traditional financial avenues, the official said. The US imported 48,867 metric tons of seafood from Russia in 2021, worth about $1.6 billion, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Crab accounted for the largest portion of those imports, with the US buying more than $1.2 billion worth of frozen snow and red king crab last year. The US does not sell any seafood directly to Russia, as the country banned US exports of seafood and fish in 2014. This satellite image provided by Maxa Technologies shows a close-up view of fires in an industrial area and nearby fields in southern Chernihiv, Ukraine, during the Russian invasion, Thursday, March 10, 2022. This satellite image provided by Maxa Technologies shows troops and equipment deployed in trees, northwest of Antonov Airport in Lubyanka, Ukraine, during the Russian invasion, Wednesday, March 9, 2022. Imports of Russian vodka to the United States accounted for only 1.3% of total vodka imports in 2021, according to the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States. The total amounts to $25.3 million in 2021, the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States said. The president also announced G7 leaders would seek to deny Russia the ability from borrowing from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. "We're going to continue to squeeze Putin," Biden said, adding that Putin must pay the price for launching an unprovoked attack on Ukraine. The G7 is also stepping up pressure on corrupt Russian billionaires. "We're adding new names to the list of oligarchs and their families that we're targeting, and we're increasing coordination among the G7 countries to target and capture their ill-begotten gains," Biden said. "They support Putin. They steal from the Russian people, and they seek to hide their money in our countries." 14-year-old Katya was shot fleeing Russia's invasion. CNN reported Thursday that bipartisan talks in the Senate had been taking shape to take more aggressive action on Russia's trade status after the White House effectively watered down the House-passed bill banning importing Russian oil, natural gas, and coal into the U.S. The earlier version of the legislation had included a provision that would suspend permanent normal trade relations for Russia and Belarus. But the White House expressed concerns over that part of the bill, and ultimately it was excised. Ukrainian servicemen help a woman carrying a small dog across the Irpin River on an improvised path while assisting people fleeing the town of Irpin, Ukraine, Saturday, March 5, 2022. The bill banning Russian energy imports that passed the House Wednesday night instead simply called for a review of Russia's status in the World Trade Organization. Senate Finance Chairman Ron Wyden, a Democrat of Oregon, told CNN that he was engaging in talks with the top tax writers in Congress and the Biden administration about the matter, as pressure grew to include tougher language in the House bill when the Senate takes it up as soon as next week. "I believe the Russians, the inhumane behavior of Russia does not justify it to get the fruits of the international community," Wyden said. Ukrainians cross an improvised path under a destroyed bridge while fleeing Irpin, some 25 kilometers northwest of Kiev, Friday, March 11, 2022. Kiev northwest suburbs such as Irpin and Bucha have been enduring Russian shellfire and armaments for over a week, prompting residents to leave their home. Senator Mike Crapo, an Idaho Republican and the ranking Republican on the Finance Committee, said he probably wouldn't support the House bill without stronger language on its trade status, and made clear there would be an effort to amend it. "The question is PNTR, which is absent. And then they had some other stuff on the WTO in there, which is kind of hollow if we don't do PNTR," Crapo said earlier in the day.